for your first trip, what did you take and how much?
I took one tab.
Oh God.
My first trip, I took 2 grams shrooms
2 grams of mushrooms.
on pizza.
100 micrograms LSD, and then I took another 100 because I thought it wasn't working. And actually, this was like when I was like on an Adderall prescription.
Why did you want to trip? Like, what was the incentive this first time?
The occasion, it was a party.
Gotcha. So, did you know anything about it prior, or?
Nope.
I'm really interested in perception and how I perceiving how I perceive things. The perception changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a really strange way to put it, but like to change my reality to no, well, to change my inner reality or understand things for a short time.
I don't know. It was around like kind of a
Nobody.
uncertain period in my life. I I had just like come out as trans, and I like met some new people. In fact, I never really had done drugs before I did LSD.
Would
Like-
you be willing to describe your first
If you
trip?
Don't think about it. Yeah, dude. Okay.
The first 10 minutes was pretty slow, but then I started like, my vision started like tripping out. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just got like, it's like my eyes were shaking. And then I got, yeah. Basically, my first trip was fucked.
It was fun.
Because it was at a party and I had social anxiety and shit all at the same time. And then fucking I'm pretty sure that party got busted, so you know.
Were you there when it got busted?
Yeah. But I escaped somehow.
While you were on acid?
I think it was in rush. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
You know, they tell you never look in a mirror. I totally looked in a mirror and I was like, I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
So much fun. Yeah. So my first trip, I was super nervous. I took 2 grams on like 3 slices of pizza, and I remember feeling like I was like 8 years old again. Like everything had a new beauty. Like everything was big, you know. Like you were like a little kid. Those fucking wind chimes everywhere, they were huge. Like boom, boom, boom. Like oh my. Like satisfaction. The satisfaction. It was so good. Able to express a completely different level of emotional like consistency or like in the moment, you know, like where I've been like grounded enough to experience every part of the moment, and like you're still high as fuck, which is what I was feeling, like so happy. And like you know how well, maybe if you've never tripped, if I was trying to explain to someone who hasn't, it'd be like tripping is like removing the layer of like judgment completely.
So my worst one was actually my first trip. And my first trip, I got like really suicidal, and towards the end of it, I actually tried to kill myself, and ended up in the hospital because of it. So
Holy fuck, how much did
Oh.
you pay?
Happy to see that you weren't successful.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Describe your best trip, or what you would describe as your best trips.
Hmm. That's a hard one.
Right. Viscerally, it feels like your spine gets tight and you don't ever lose control. That's the more important part. That's what people drive on it. I don't. If you have an imagination you can control, I'd say go ahead and do it. But like, if you're emotionally in a bad place, it will airlift you via mushroom
to hell because you're going to confront that immediately. That you've been battling something horrible. I feel like it makes you like so young because you're so vulnerable to the things around you and the emotional shifts around you. Really interesting. But I only took enough to like kind of feel tired and feel like I'm tripping a little bit heavy. I would watch anime and stuff and cry because I love anime so much. Like, yeah, I got really into anime because of mushrooms. It helps to have someone around.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so I'm a gamer and I play Destiny 2. I did a bunch of acid. I think like 4 tabs of acid. And I went to the Dreaming City for the first time because my friend took me. And I just had a blast just exploring that place. The visuals of the whole thing was incredible.
And not too obvious.
It's almost like that place was made to trip, honestly. And I had a really good time just exploring Destiny with my friend. Um, I've had other instances where it's like, you know, outside of video games. I've had amazing times, especially with shrooms. But for some reason, this one LSD trip, I thought the place was so beautiful that I actually like cried. Like that's how beautiful it was to me.
I'd definitely say if you were going to trip, do it with friends or with a sitter. Just because like, usually you really don't get a good trip if you're alone. But if you are with friends and shit, then I think you would be fine. And I did have a good, one of my best ones was with the boys, just us hanging out.
Could you describe any of your bad trips or bad experiences that you've had?
Like getting trapped in the mirror.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain that feeling. It's just, I don't know. I was super fucking hot. I didn't know what I was doing. One of my friends had to come save me from the fucking mirror. Cause I was sitting there with my mouth, like my jaw all the way open. It's like slobber coming out of my mouth, staring at myself in the mirror. So that was probably one of the worst ones, just because I got trapped in there for like an hour or two.
All right, this is the worst, and yeah, it's just the worst because I was camping at this river nearby. I mean, me, my friend Scott, and his brother. It was actually dead now, which is crazy, but that I'll save for the end. Anyways, yeah, so we're all gonna go out to the lake, the trip, and we did the lake, the fucking river, and he knew a special spot where we could camp, and it was already like pretty like worn out, I guess, and people would go there often, and I was kind of already tripping because it took a little bit, but that's the problem. I took too much this time. Like I took so much because I was eating donuts, and I was putting mushrooms on the donuts. And the donuts were really fucking good. Like, like, I ate so many. This because it was donuts. Like there were caps on donuts, like caps and caps and caps. Yeah, I just started having it. I was tripping really well in the beginning. While we just set up camp, and I was eating mushrooms after mushrooms, and like realized how much I had taken. I was like, I should stop. Fuck. And I saw some crazy ass spiders on the way there. And of course that affected me during my shitty trip. But like, that's where it kind of started. I started thinking about bugs. And I don't like bugs. And I was with only 2 other dudes. And so as a girl, I'm just gonna try and hold my own shit, you know? Like, I can do that, so I'm gonna do that, but I couldn't do that at that time. And just like their dynamic was different than mine and theirs, and mine and Scott's and mine and his brother less them together. So
them being brothers together, they act different. People act different with their siblings, and it was like I just felt like I was left out, or like I never got to have a bond like that with my brother. Probably it's nighttime. I am terrified because there's forest all around us. I'm like, what the hell? Like, which is like usually a thing that I'm cool with, and it was like cold, but I was so sad that I knew I would have to try to entertain myself too, and it was gonna be really like me and them, like, and that really bothered me. And like, in retrospect, there's no sense behind it, but I think I was intimidated by the brotherly bond that they had. I think I'm sleeping on rocks, like I'm literally laying on some fucking rocks, like what? I think that's what I was really intimidated by, was that I was losing my touch with myself, and like I needed to realize who I was again. It's like, why am I so jealous of their love? Oh fuck, I love things? I don't know. It really makes you confront. It made me confront a lot of bullshit the second time. And his brother died of an overdose, actually, of like medicine, like sleeping meds.
How would you describe the visuals, or if there's like any examples that you can think of?
Subtle. Yeah.
The way that your eyes create things with different shit is really cool, though. I like it. That's probably my favorite part about it. It's like being in fucking Alice in Wonderland. Like falling through the rabbit hole. It's exactly what it feels like, or it looks like, and feels like.
It depends on the trip. Because sometimes, like with LSD, it's not like, seeing things or like hallucinating that things are there. It's more like colors are accentuated, and like wavy, colorful lines come off things. The visuals, the only way I can describe it is like if you melted a jawbreaker and you saw all the layers like dripping down from the jawbreaker, and that's like how I feel like LSD looks like. I don't know why, but I love those visuals so much.
Laboratory produced effects of acid are very geometrical in nature, hallucinatory wise, but with mushrooms it's like feeling. You start seeing them, like you can see the flow of the color of your feelings, and I wish I could describe that in a different way, but like you can sense stuff on many, many more levels than you originally could, and so stuff hits you harder and differently. You can understand a lot more about your own experience that way.
How have your trips affected you in any way, like long
Dude.
term, short term?
Sheesh.
I could probably say I might be perma-fried, but I don't know.
What makes you say that?
I don't know, I act fucking high all the time. People always ask me, are you high? And shrooms, acid, weed, codeine, Xans, cocaine. Yeah, I've done a lot. I'm a fucking junkie.
That changed my whole perspective on everything. Because I feared different stuff. I was happy about different stuff.
I'd say that they made me a lot more open to anything really. It just kind of, in fact, I actually think that they changed my life dramatically, because before I would talk and react to people without really thinking about what I was saying, and
But you gain really beneficial information about who you think that you are when you explore your experience as through exploring your perception. Because shit.
so before I felt like I was I wasn't very considerate of like other people. Like I'm not saying like, you know, change your life based on like how other people want you to be, but more like just being open to other people's problems and empathizing with them better. And I wasn't like that before. And nowadays I really like try to think from people's side of things. I feel like a lot of that was because of like the intersection I had from like doing shrooms. I had like a really good look at myself, and I saw that maybe like the way I was living my life wasn't the happiest way to live my life.
Is there anything that you would have done differently, knowing what you know now?
Nah, because I wouldn't know what I know now if I'd done anything differently.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would I would have given myself the advice to not trip when, you know, I'm like depressed and suicidal. Um, I mean, like
Always
I
be
had
sure when you're on it.
I had a lot of good times, but like the first time I did it, it really like I really started focusing on a lot of like the negative things in my life, and I would have told myself to not like focus on those things and just like find something to do during the trip, because just sitting there with your thoughts can really like make you focus on stuff that isn't even really a problem in your life.
Yes, I would definitely take, if you were to do it like your first time, I would definitely do it with someone you trust. Um, and if you have that ability, then do it with your family, one of your family members.
Would you continue the trip, or you plan on continuing to?
Fuck yeah, dude. I just haven't had enough money to buy just a 30 sack recently. You know? I take breaks, long breaks, so I can maintain my reality. So that you can change it.
It's not necessarily my favorite thing to do, but I probably would do it again, yeah. Just don't fucking trust anyone, cause like, that shit can get laced hella easily.
That or depends, because I'm at a point in my life where I mean I do really enjoy tripping, and I think it's done a lot to improve my character. But I'm at a point where I want my life to be more consistent, and um, you know, I just I don't want to like, you know, all of a sudden I had a bad trip and I'm at the hospital kind of thing, you know. And I take antidepressants, and right now it's just not feasible. But if I ever had a chance, like in the future, just to like, you know, like maybe once every few years, like I definitely do it, honestly.
Do you have any extra like notes or stories that you want to talk about?
Don't do too much shrooms, honestly. Like a mid range, like 3 to 5 is that's like the good zone for me at least. I've done like 8 to 12 grams of shrooms all at the same time, and I've had a few good, like really good trips during those, but it also gives you like a giant potential to have a really bad trip. And I did have a trip where the whole time I felt like I was drowning. It reminded me when I was a kid, uh, someone at a public pool tried to drown me, and I had totally forgotten about that before that trip. And it just like brought up something that was like so awful to me. So don't do too much shrooms because it can dredge up some really bad feelings, honestly.
Yeah, my first time on shrooms wasn't that good because I didn't eat the shrooms, I smoked it. So it tasted like complete shit and the high was not that great. I felt like shit the entire time. But the time I did eat shrooms, that was pretty fun. I don't think I've had a bad trip with shrooms.
The shit that is gonna be on your phone after every trip, you will literally cherish forever because it makes no sense. And you won't even remember your trip either. You won't remember it. Your brain doesn't let you, but you can feel it sometimes. And it'll remind you of the trip. You remember certain stuff. It's like being a kid again, for sure.